Welcome back to Wigs in Midlife with Scarlett. Today I'm talking all about powder foundation for mature skin. A lot of myths and misleading information is out there telling women that they cannot wear powder foundation as their skin matures, and I'm here to debunk some of that and show you how I am still using powder foundation as my skin gets thinner, drier, and more porous with the proper application and the proper prep. So if you're interested in this topic, please stay tuned, and as always, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and let's get started. Let's get into powder foundation. I am 51 years old, and I do know that my skin is aging nicely for 51, but it is changing as I get older. And I have not had, just as a prerequisite, I have not had any fillers or any kind of fillers or Botox or anything done to enhance my face. This face is completely natural at this point. It's not to say that I may never get a cosmetic thing done, but as of yet, I have not done anything cosmetic to my face. So I just want to preface that for everybody. So I want to talk about powder foundation because I am a diehard powder foundation girl. I have used powder foundation my entire life. And as I got older, in my 40s, I started to notice that the dual finish coverage that I used from Lancome, I used their dual finish powder foundation for probably, I'm not even kidding you, for probably 30 years of my life. I used it forever, since my very early 20s, and I swore by it. And when you become used to powder foundation, it is really hard to switch. I tried, the Saint makeup, and I tried the cream-based makeup, and I just felt like it was heavy and gloppy and goopy, and I sent it back. And that's because I was told, oh, well, you can't wear powder foundation anymore, and I was buying into it. I did notice that the dual finish from Lancome that I was using was not settling into my skin the same way as it did when I was younger. It was starting to break up. I was starting to see the pores, and sometimes it was, making it look dry and flaky. But that did not deter me. I decided I was going to research like I always do. As many of you know, I'm a teacher and I am a lifelong learner, and everything for me is about learning and researching. And what I discovered was that you have to use a certain kind of powder foundation, and you have to do a lot of prep to your skin. So when I was younger, I would just, put on a little moisturizer, throw on powder, and I was good to go. But now I have to do a lot more than just a basic moisturizer. So I'm going to go over my prep on what I do before the powder foundation, and then we're going to talk about different powder foundations because they are not all created equal, and they definitely don't all work for mature skin. But before we get into that, just so you know, I have always had dry skin, but as I've gotten older, it has gotten drier and drier. So when you're placing dry powder foundation on top of dry skin, that can be an issue if you don't prep properly. So let's get into prep and start there, and then we're going to get into the different kinds of foundation and what I found worked for me and why it works for me. When I prep my skin to put on my powder foundation, I have 4 different products that I'm layering on my face for, and I just started, this is my first set of Naked and Thriving, their day set. I have just started using them, but I've been using this for about a month and I'm liking it. I do plan on trying more and sharing those with you because they're not the only one that has high reviews and is doing well for mature skin. But what it is it's a day serum. This might be backwards on the screen. And it is a prevent face oil. So I mix those with my favorite and low cost moisturizer with SPF, which is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost with 25 SPF. And I layer, my powder foundation also has a 25 SPF for double protection. So SPF is huge. And I think one of the reasons my skin has aged better than some is because I was never a sun worshiper. I stayed out of the sun. I never liked hot sun beating down on me. But I also, if I was in the sun, was always lathered up with sunscreen, and heavy sunscreen, not 10%. I was always 50 or above my entire life. And so when I go to the dermatologist, he said, you have very little sun damage for somebody your age. And that, I just don't like hot beating down sun on my face or anywhere else, to be honest with you. So just note that SPF is so vital and so important to the way your skin ages. The sun can damage skin like nobody's business, and that's regardless of your complexion, whether you're very fair-skinned or you're very, very dark. You still have to protect your skin. Whether you burn or you don't burn, you still have to protect your skin. So it is very important to me. I have a lot of coverage, SPF coverage in my makeup. And this is the order in which I do it. I start with the serum. So I'm going to get some of that out, and I put little drops to go all over the face and rub that in. And next I do, you would think, oh, you're going to go the oil. No, I do the oil last. Then I go to the Hydra Boost with SPF, and we put that on. And I usually put it on my neck as well. I put all these on my neck as well. Today, just to save time, I'm going to put it just on my, I'm going to put just the moisturizer on my neck, because I'm not really going outside anyway at the moment. And I am doing this in front of a window with natural light. I'm a big proponent of natural light. There's all my wigs behind me. That's not even all of them. That's some of them. And I don't always wear wigs. I rock the gray hair too. I love trying to embrace our aging and not listening to society telling us that we're not valid anymore because we're older. So I battled the gray hair for many years, grew it out. I'm going to do some content on that too, and I'm actually loving it. Okay, so after I do the moisturizer, I do the oil. Now, a lot of women have dry skin and they get drier as they get older, but not all women. So if you have oily skin, I'm probably not the best one to watch for this kind of stuff, because I've never, ever had oily skin. And as I said, my skin's gotten drier as I've gotten older. Okay, so that is 3 of the products. Now there's a 4th one. And I'm in the process of trying multiple primers, but this is Spackle Skin Perfecting Primer, which is it says Hydrate, Moisture, and Replenish Primer from Laura Geller. And I really like it. And you don't need that much. You just need, I usually do like 2 pumps, maybe 1.5 pumps. And it really spreads nicely to help with the pores and continue to give moisture. So when you are putting on a foundation that is dry, you've got to moisturize and put the moisture into your face first. A lot of companies are trying to market that you can't do powder foundation as you age. And I want to start, before we get into the different kinds of foundation, I want to start with the fact that they're not all foundations. Usually a foundation has talc. Talc is basically the same thing that's used in like baby powder, and talc doesn't do well on dry and porous skin. So it's important to find they're really bare minerals is what I'm using now. It's bare minerals. It's not really a foundation because it doesn't have talc. And that's one of the keys to using a powder foundation when you have mature skin. So today I'm going to show you how the foundation, or I should say the bare minerals, is not a foundation, doesn't have talc, on one side of my face. And then we're going to look at the talc foundation powder and see how differently it settles. So let's get into that now that we've done all our priming. I'm not going to say what brand I'm using that has the talc and does not work well on my skin, because I don't really want to bash any companies. I also feel like you just need to do your research as a consumer and find foundations that work for you that don't have talc. But I am going to show you how this one settles on my face. So, and I hope the camera picks it up. But first you can see it doesn't blend. You see that? Okay, it's showing. Look at that line of powder that's not blending in. You see that? It's not blending into my skin. It's just sticking to the porous areas. And even if I try to blend it, see? It's not blending. So that is the problem that you're going to find with a lot of powder foundations. So then I'm going to go to my go-to powder, and it's not a foundation. It has no talc, and it is made with Bare Minerals. This is Jane Iredale's Bare Minerals foundation. And I actually am not saying the name right, but I will put it in the details. It's their only foundation powder, but the name is not quite right. Jane, I love, love, love. Now, look at the difference when I put this on versus this. First of all, I think they sent me the wrong color, but look at how it is not settling. Now let's look at this. And you see I definitely have a red overtone. I have some rosacea. Look at that. There is no settling. It is giving me a beautiful finish. So here, and it's you know, covering pores and everything. Here is my Bare Minerals. And here is the talc powder that's not even blending in. And I actually want to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this on my chin in the same area to show you the difference. I think that'll be great. See if you won't see that line that's sticking out. So give me 1 second. All right, so I have some makeup remover and I'm just going to take this off. You saw that line and the way it was setting, right? Okay, so now there's no makeup. There's also no primer or foundation. So I'm going to put a little bit of that back. I'm going to skip the oil just because of time, but let's put that back where it goes here. Now, you generally need a minute to let it set, so I'm going to take a minute. All right, I'm back. So let's put this on the Jane Iredale now and see what it does. And you see how it blends and there's no line? See the difference? And I still have the old foundation over here. And even here, it's like settling into my very light crease there. So this is the talc and this is the Bare Minerals. So the key takeaway, ladies, is lots of prep. Look how pretty that is. It's flawless, right? Like I'm not even done. You can see up here the difference between this and this. The key is no talc, use Bare Minerals, use a powder foundation that is marketed for, you know, a lot of them will say it's perfect for mature skin. My favorite is Jane Iredale. I've tried a few others, didn't like them as much, but no talc, Bare Minerals. See which one you like and what works for you and figure out what your prep beforehand is going to be. I really hope this was helpful. Please, again, subscribe to my channel for all things mature skin, makeup, midlife musings, perimenopause, and of course, lots of wigs. And I'll see you at the next one.